Welcome, everybody. Thank you for joining us. My name is Julie Clary. I'm the creative director for Mitchell Fabrics, and this is our first Zoom video presentation. I'm really excited to introduce our panel today. I think it's a great cross-section of designers, design firms in our industry, and each of them, like all of us, have been challenged by this pandemic, I should say. But each of them have responded differently. And so I think what I want to do today is let you hear their story and see what they have done to continue keeping their business moving forward. So top left, we have Amy Youngblood from Amy Youngblood Interiors out of Cincinnati. Bottom left, Jen Hayes from Feather and Nest Interiors, a design firm and retail boutique in the Houston area. And Peggy Zettner from Interior Trade Cartel. She runs owns and operates a To The Trade multi-line showroom. So I want to just get started. Jen, I'm going to have you go first. Tell us about your business. Tell us about what you do and really where you were at before all of this hit.
Well, I think like quite a few of us, it was a great start to 2020. Feather and Nest is a full service interior design firm. We do predominantly residential, about 30% commercial interior design and remodel work. We do a lot of custom home builds, interior design, obviously window treatments. We do a lot of window treatments, hence our fantastic relationship with you guys. And we do a lot of remodel work as well. We have the retail store that supports all those lines of business. And we had a great start to 2020. It was shaping up to be a really good year. We were feeling very positive about it. And, just getting started. And then March kind of arrived and we kind of started hearing the murmurings about what was going on, but I don't think any of us anticipated just what would happen. And in Houston, it was pretty swift that they shut everybody down. Luckily enough for us, we were told that we were considered essential, so we could stay open. And we have tried to adapt as much as we can, and still service the clients that are in progress, and jobs that are in process, and things that are still on the books and still happening. That's basically it.
Okay, great. Amy, tell us about your firm.
Kind of like Jen's firm in Houston, we do commercial as well as residential. So we've been in business a good 10 years now. I've been in the business over 20 years, and we offer anything from space planning to all kinds of furniture, furnishings, window treatments, you name it. I would say about 70% of our business is residential though. We have a staff of 4 of us, including myself, plus an intern. I think just like Jen said, when this whole thing kind of hit, we were having a great, one of our best first quarters we've ever had. And I knew that we were probably set for a recession, some sort of recession to hit, just based on just the basic economic cycle of life. But no one knew that it was going to be like this. I mean, this was like surreal, right? Mm-hmm. So I think what we did is, we already knew we had to get more virtual anyway, with working with clients, whether they be out of state or, just doing things more on a level where we could offer our services more virtually, because there is competition out there that people, you're seeing that, you see Wayfair, you see all these, that ads for, learn to be an interior designer, and it's like it's so easy and glamorous, and we all know that it's not. So we started off with some help, some ideas from my brainstorming with my coach, in terms of offering interior design classes that were also, we called them Connect and Create. It was kind of the theme, and they're being done on Zoom, just like this call. And we had a really great success with our first one, and have all from that have made an offering to our clients in terms of if they still can't, I guess, get it through the class, we're here to help virtually.
Right.
So
And
um,
and I want to talk more about that too in just a little
yeah,
bit about what you're doing, because I think that's so relevant today, obviously, as we all are here on Zoom as well, and the power of Zoom to connect.
yeah,
Peggy, I want you to talk about your business, because you are unique in that your customer base, your client base is designers. So you rely on that foot traffic in that beautiful showroom that we can see behind you. So talk about owning a showroom.
Um, the concept of a multi-line showroom in San Antonio, when we started 23 years ago, was really unique. And what my dream was to bring as much product to the design trade in San Antonio, because we're not a market destination city. So it was kind of really a real gamble. It had been done on a very small scale before. So my customers, like you said, are Jen and Amy. Those would be my customers. I sell to designers, very few builders, because typically they have a designer working for them. And like Amy, we're probably more of our designers are residential, probably 90% residential, a few dabble in commercial. But, I've seen the business in San Antonio grow over the past 23 years immensely. And we have gone from very traditional to very transitional. So we have a lot of new looks. Our customers, I have some customers that I've had from day one. So we're kind of like a big family. I have a wonderful staff, 9 employees, and we represent many, many different lines. We do furniture, lighting, bedding, accessories, fabric, wall covering, trimming. We have a flooring department. So we're kind of a one-stop shop. And for San Antonio, it's really unique to represent this many lines. So designers don't have to travel to a market city like Dallas or Houston.
Yeah.
So, I've just seen the business grow. And like Jen said, we were off to a great start. 2020 was booming, just booming. So we are still doing business, and we'll talk about that, how we're working now. It's very unique.
Yeah, great. So Jen, back to you, because you're unique in that you have that retail side of it. So a design firm and retail, two somewhat different business models.
Yes.
And with retail, one has inventory. So when you saw everything screeching to a halt somewhat, how did you address that? What was going through your mind?
I mean, honestly, I panicked for a good day and thought, oh, what am I going to do? And then just sat down and thought, okay, I'm kind of a planner and I'm a proactive thinker. And I wanted to come up with a plan to move forward. I can't operate from a kind of panic headspace because nothing really gets accomplished. And I thought, what can I do with what we have? And it's a question of adapting. And I think in our industry, you have to adapt a lot, oftentimes on the fly. You can be on a job site and things change minute by minute, and you have to adapt, and you have to have your game face on and know how to kind of go with how things change quickly. And so I took a look at what we had in store and what we had available to us. And it was a question of reaching out to the community and also allowing ourselves to be vulnerable and say, we're a small business. We are going to obviously be struggling like other small businesses. It's not all glamour, because people have this preconceived notion that because you're in interior design, it's all just glamorous. You sit around in wonderful outfits all day picking fabric. It's not really how it works at all. It's so much hard work. And so putting that vulnerability out there and saying, please, we've served our community for X number of years now. We've supported all your charitable endeavors, and we have this to offer, and we're asking for support. And so I started offering, porch deliveries of candles and gifts and whatever we had as inventory in the store. And it was successful from the second day that I offered it. I will say this, it would not have been so without the community support. you know, that's vital. But I've built those relationships over the years. That's been very, very important to me, to build those relationships.
Absolutely.
That's a big part of this business.
Yeah.
And so when you need to, you draw on those relationships, and it's symbiotic, you know, and the support has been phenomenal. And it's just a question of adapting.
I agree.
Adapting.
And you know, you're in the business, designers were in the business of, you know, how can we help you? We can help you. We have all these great services, and you had to stop, and the tables were turned.
Yeah.
How can you
Sure.
help me? You know, and so you took that that had to be kind of pull anyone out of their comfort zone to feel like you're going back and saying, now I need your help.
Yeah, like, please, you know, give us an opportunity. You guys are going to be at home, but I know that there's special events, there's special occasions. You're going to be sick of looking at the same things on your console tables. Like, can I give you a new centerpiece for your dining room table? You can't go and shop at Home Goods. You can't go to any of the other big box stores. Give us a shot, you know, and we can deliver something this afternoon. And I think in the first 3 days, I did 52 deliveries in one day and was delivering till 10 o'clock at night, like a mad woman, you know, with my gloves on. I think the first 2 days I used dishwashing gloves from home. I wasn't touching anything, but it worked. And so it is, for me, it was about prioritizing. And I knew for me, the priority was making payroll. It was to pay the ladies that work with me. That was my priority. And I put that out there in a very simple and clean way and said, these ladies are my priority and they're part of your community. And I would like to honor that and keep on paying them, but I need your help.
Yeah. And I want to touch on that whole human side of being a business owner and, you know, your employees or your family. So I want to get to that. Amy, I want to just talk to you about what you've done, because I'm going to use a word that we've heard a lot in the industry, you know, pivot. And I feel like you were starting that pivot with your virtual design. You know, you were thinking ahead on that, but this hits and, you know, you adapted quickly, just like Jen did, and said, okay, I'm going to do this. We're going to have to roll this out. So talk about that process. You touched upon it a little bit, but just give us a little insight.
Yeah, I guess to continue where we left off, our first class went really well, and then we've already just sent out another invite for a second class with a different topic. And that's going to be on basically how to accessorize your bookcases, your house, little things you can do, rearranging. But yeah, and I think on a more human note, I think we also, to make that pivot, we also have to realize that, you know, people are kind of went through a shock in the very beginning. I think now we're in more of an acceptance mode. And I think it's also like, what with like as in free design classes, what can we give also back to our community? I know we had one restaurant, and the restaurant business has obviously been very, very hit up front. My husband owns a restaurant. We have one restaurant where we have they were just scrambling to make it on delivery and takeout. And luckily the project was continuing because they were very far along, and we helped market them. We offered to do deliveries for them. And we even did, and they were very appreciative of it, because that leads to future business, like Jen was saying, or that kind of like long-term relationship. They're going to, you know, we're planning on them opening another space restaurant next year. I can't imagine we won't be over this by next year. So I do think you have to really take a humanistic approach towards people right now, because we are in a people business. So I think that's one area I feel like, me personally, I feel like just one pivot besides just offering services and classes is actually putting yourself out there and as a upstanding citizen in general, but also just supporting and collaborating with other people in the small business community, and ways you can, you know, share ideas and work together. So, and help each other basically.
Right.
So that was a really big thing for me, personally. Yeah.
Yeah. Peggy, talk about, you know, what you're doing. You with your customer base, obviously you are needing to, communicate to your designers that we're still open, because any kind of business that they can do, you're their resource. So share how you address.
Right. Well, our client base is different, whereas Jen and Amy, their client base is the public. Our client base is our designers. We've always been very specific about that. We keep it very separate. So what we're doing, we had planned to be open about 4 hours a day with different teams of people working, but then when we got the shelter in place order, I didn't want my employees to be in that situation. And because we are to the trade, we are not in a retail center. I mean, you would have to know where we are. So we reach out to our designers because, like I said, we've worked with a lot of them since day one, and we're all like family. So we reach out to them. We just had started doing this year a lot more social media, kind of getting away from the print, and we found that's the best way with MailChimp and Instagram and Facebook to really get out there and be in front of our designers. And then on the other hand, our vendors are also our business partners, and we want to promote them during this time. So what we've been doing is sending out 2 emails a week to stay in front of the designer, putting out new product that's there. Maybe some of the vendors may be running a promotion at this time, maybe featuring things like home office since everybody's working from home. But putting things out there and also checking on them to see how they're doing and letting them know we're here. If your projects are still going forward, we are here by email. We can meet you up in the showroom by appointment. We had a designer that her client wanted to accessorize. I guess everybody's at home and they're ready to see some new things. So everything in our showroom is for sale. So we can set up with appointment if they want to come up here with a client. Somebody would meet them, everybody stay their distance, and they could, purchase off the floor. We do a lot more online. Everything is by email right now. We're sending out memos. Penny, who works in our flooring department, was here this morning, meeting with a couple of different people working on big projects that are moving forward. So I think, it's a very people business. We surround ourselves with beautiful things, which, like I said, nobody really needs this stuff. This is all fluff, but people are spending more time in their home. That's their sanctuary, and that's their environment. So we're reaching out to the designers so they can reach out to their customers and let them know, I haven't gone anywhere. We're still here. We're still working. And I think, we're all in this together. And I honestly believe what I have seen, the kindness and the compassion more, just from getting emails from customers, just checking to see if you're okay. I think we're going to come out better. A lot of people may be working more from home, doing more things like this to get in front of your customers. But I just think we're going to come out of this okay.
Yeah, I agree. Well, and and so as you mentioned, communication is obviously key to all of this. It's the heart of relationships. In any business relationship, you need to work on it. You need to continue to reach out to your customers. So you've been really successful with emails and your social media. But I want to talk about the different types of communication we have. I mean, it's the emails, you've got social media, there's the video. So it's very multifaceted, and I think everybody, probably even the 3 of you, have approached it differently. I think about that first barrage of emails we all got. It was all very clinical. When COVID-19, it was very clinical. This is what we're doing. We're sanitizing, and it was everyone, I think, felt they had that responsibility. Mm-hmm. Then the second wave was kind of warm and fuzzy, checking in. How are you doing? And so now I feel like we're transitioning into this point of, okay, when is it okay to start marketing, true marketing, and putting myself out there and I think that's kind of it's a very emotional, personal decision, particularly all of you owning your own business. You are your business, you are your own brand. And when does it feel right to start saying, hey, I'm concerned about you, but I have a business to run? Jen, share your thoughts on that.
Yeah. And, we touched on this briefly a little yesterday when we were just having a chat. And I kind of felt a little strange about sharing project updates and new pictures. Usually I can't wait, at the end of a weekend and I've done all the site visits. I'm like, oh, pictures, pictures. I'm so excited to post them. And I kind of felt it was a little gratuitous. And I thought, I think people have bigger issues to worry about. Is this silly? Are people going to think I'm inconsiderate, not, out of touch? And then a client texted me and she said, oh, I noticed that on the design account, you haven't posted my pictures. Are you waiting? And I thought, this is silly. Life goes on. Let me just post the pictures and do it because I'm so proud of the work and she loves her home and she's so happy with the project. Life goes on.
Yeah.
Life has to go on. It just has to carry on. But I kind of have figured out a way to keep the Facebook, and for me it's a little easier because I have the store. I do a lot of Feather and Nest for the store on Facebook because I've got an audience that goes there looking for my daily posts on what have you got in stock, what products have arrived, what accessories have arrived, what have you got available for us today. And then on Instagram, I really keep it a lot just about the design work and posting pictures.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of my customers will save those pictures. And, oh, I like this that you did for this person. Or what's this paint color?
Yeah.
So, just trying to be sensitive, but also say, look, it's time. It's time.
Right.
It's time to get back to work,
And Amy, I know you send out a lot of email communications. I get those. So, and you've just throughout, I think the few years that I've gotten to know you, you are active you do a post on LinkedIn. You are on social media.
Wow, you noticed.
You hit all those venues. And so did your message change or has it changed? Has it shifted? Or do you feel like you just have to keep moving forward, business as usual to some degree?
I feel like it's a combination. I mean, initially, just like Jen said, it was sort of like ooh, what do I do? And you see other people out there pretending like nothing's going on. And I don't think that's the way to approach it. I think there needs to be a combination between, yeah, this is tough. We're in this together, and we are still there for you. And I think it has to be kind of like maybe a softer touch a little bit. But I definitely feel like it needs to be, we're at this point where, yes, we need to start moving forward and changing our work model. And yes, we do quarterly newsletters, which has brought in a lot of business. People just find interest in reading them. And actually, we started a digital marketing campaign last fall that I wasn't doing, where if you go to our website, amyyoungblood.com, there'll be a pop-up that says, sign up for our email and you'll get, blah, blah, blah. So, and get like actually free tips from Amy. And we send those free interior design tips to clients about 3 times a week. And at first I was concerned about, we're going to be spamming these people to death. But one of my clients who's become a dear friend of mine, we had lunch before everything really hit. And she said, Amy, I have been, not feeling well. This is not from COVID-19, but she's like, I've had a lot of time at home and just not able to work much. And I love getting your tips. They are so helpful. And I was like, well, that is great to hear, Anne. I mean, I really appreciate you telling me that. So, so yeah, I think people understand really that as long as you're not being rude in your messaging or really overly pushy, I think we definitely, and yeah, through Instagram, through, obviously Facebook is a big one. But I think I've tried to, at least between my Facebook and my Instagram, try and put a little bit of a human element into those things too. So like, businesses that, I work for that we're working on, I did an Instagram post yesterday. We custom designed a beautiful light fixture and they hung it and they loved it. And they were so happy with it. And was it cheap? No, but it's stunning. And we were like, hey, just sneak peek, when they open, just get ready for it. So, and they loved it. So I think you have to kind of have a combination of empathy, but still sell.
Right, right. So Peggy, you know, 2 times a week, that's a lot. That's a lot of content to come up with. Do you do that yourself? Do you have a team that does that? How do you decide what you're going to do? Is there a collaboration among your team?
Well, we have hired somebody. We outsource it, and there's actually she's the sister of our IT guy, and she's really been. We've really been paying her for this portion of it, and we've not really utilized it. So we were talking, myself and another one of my employees that does the furniture, Michelle, because she's pretty good at it. But it is a full-time job too. I mean, it's a marketing job.
Absolutely.
And we have a big customer base. So we have a product that we represent all over the United States. And then otherwise, as far as the showroom, it's pretty local designers. But we thought 2 times a week was just enough, not too much.
Mm-hmm.
And we're always featuring something different, a different vendor. Maybe we're featuring an event that, we were going to have with ASID or NKBA, but just enough to stay in front of them and kind of give an element of excitement and new product and something that they may keep in their mind and want to look forward to when they do get back to work and get out. But it has really helped, and it also has a human element message too. We hope you and your family are doing well during these times. While we miss not being able to be with you, we still can work with you. Just letting them know we're still here, and work is going to go on, life is going to go on. Your jobs may be on hold now, but they'll come through later. We're here for you. Anything we can do for you in the meantime. Maybe we drop memos off at your house. If an order came in for you, maybe we drop it off at your house.
Mm-hmm.
Just, trying to help out and still let them know we're here. We're not just business, we're here for you.
Right. So when you look at the 3 different or the different social media platforms, you've all mentioned Facebook, Instagram. Do you have a preference, one or the other?
MailChimp is a big one for us. We email our entire,
Yep.
Yeah. But Instagram seems to be bigger and newer with the young ones.
Yep.
But we do both.
Okay. Jen?
For me, I've got a unique situation in my community. We have a massive Facebook presence. There are online groups where there's literally tens of thousands of people that are on neighborhood groups that if you do a post, you can be seen by 2,000 or 3,000 people within a couple of hours. So Facebook is huge for the retail side of the business, Instagram for the design.
Mm-hmm.
For sure, those 2. And actually, between Amy and Peggy, they've really spurred me on to follow through on the MailChimp. I'm behind the curve for sure.
Yeah. Well, good. We're all learning from each other here.
Yeah.
I kind of back to that Instagram. There was a really great article I read. It was in the New York Times. Sophie Donaldson, she's used to be a former editor, but she wrote an article that said self-quarantine is no time for the Instagram-worthy kitchen. And very fitting, because it was all about, just look around. Now we're all home. We're in our homes. We're looking at these rooms, and, there's nothing Instagram worthy about the dining room, which is the classroom, and the furniture being pulled around in the makeshift offices.
Correct.
Anyone want to comment on, just on that and where they see design heading after all of this? Because we are looking at our homes very differently.
I think it's going to be huge.
It's going to be huge, but I had something that happened kind of the first week that all of this went down. There's another local designer. She's very talented. She's a great person, but I think her strategy was a little off because she kind of thought, I'm going to pretend like nothing's happened. And she started with all the extra time setting up all these Instagram moments in her home. I'm going to show my beautiful kitchen. I'm going to show my beautiful home office. I'm going to show my beautiful bedroom. And she did this series of posts. Well, within over 48 hours, I got message after message after message after message. How out of touch is she? How out of touch is she with her client base? This is almost to the point of being insulting. I'm not interested in looking at her $300 pillows when I've got 3 screaming toddlers that I'm ready to, you know, run out of the house. It's so frustrating. So, you know, what Amy said, it's striking that correct balance on social media. Striking that
just to add to that, what Jen said, there's I won't name names, but there's one designer out of New York City that I follow or was following, and when everything really got hit New York, she like went to Texas, ladies, her second house that she and her really wealthy husband own. And she's posting pictures of herself in a bikini, reading a book and working out, and her huge, you know, her big, beautiful house and her yard. And I just thought, you know, that's just not, you're not in touch with reality, honey. So that's just my commentary.
it's out of touch.
Yeah. So obviously we all believe there's going to be great opportunity on the other side of us, or we hope, right? Because we're in our homes. Anyone see anything, you know, Peggy, you are probably interacting the most with a variety of designers. Are you getting any insight from them right now? Or do you know, what are your thoughts? What's your outlook on that?
Well, obviously the ones that we have still been in contact with, the ones that are working, you know, they're very optimistic. It's like, this will pass. They had big projects that are going forward in spite of what's going on. We have others that projects are on hold, but they know they will come to be when this passes. I think overall it's scary, it's different, but I think from who I have spoken to, they're very optimistic.
Mhm.
It's a very optimistic outlook. This is for a while. They can still run their business. I think we're all having to learn a little more social media, a little bit more with computers, and how important the internet really is. I mean, the internet was pretty detrimental to a lot of businesses. Retail furniture stores here have been hit really hard.
Yes.
A lot of designers have been hit. If anybody asks what's your biggest competition, I would say it's the internet. So maybe it's time we all make the internet our friend and all benefit from what the internet has to offer. So that's what we're doing. But I think overall everybody's pretty optimistic and they're going to move forward.
Okay, great.
I feel the same way. To add to that, I really feel like, you know, I think it's forced a lot of us as small business owners to really kind of dig deep and look for opportunities out there. And I think we get so caught up in our day-to-day operations. I know myself as the owner of my firm, I get caught up with like just the logistics and not the creativity. And when in reality, we got into this because we are creatives and we love what we do. So I think if you're good at what you do, I said that to somebody the other day who was kind of down in the dumps with her business. And I said, I think if you're good at what you do and you do the right things to move forward, when we come out of this, which we will, you will be that much further ahead of the game.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
Yeah.
And Julie, I like those lamps behind you. If you need a third one, I've got right here.
We will have to talk after that.
Yeah.
You know, I was thinking again, just looking around my own house, and you know, is this an opportunity for designers to really get to know a good craftsman or, you know, carpenter to find ways to, how can we create more multi-functionality in a room? And, you know, I just think there's a lot of creative, you know, to your point, Amy, we got to get creative. We're creative, you know, just continuing being creative in this new way of, you know, of life, you know, because I think a lot of people will continue at some point to be in their homes more. We don't know what that looks like, but I do think there's a lot of opportunity. So let's just circle back to your businesses and the things that you're doing now, or that you're based on what you've been through and where you're at right now these last few weeks. Is there anything that you've thought about, any kind of new strategy that you think, you know what, I've got to do something just so, you know, I can be better prepared? Or maybe it's just, you know, maybe it's a pivot, or maybe there is something new that you think, you know what, this is going to be really beneficial to my customer base or to my business, either from a financial standpoint, whatever it might be. Have any of you thought about that? You may have lost Peggy Brown. Amy or Jen?
Yeah, I thought of one a couple days ago that I didn't share when we talked the last time, but you know, we do window treatments and just like Jen a lot, and we always have lots of extra fabric. And I've got a seamstress right now, or a workroom, I will call them, and I talked to her today. She's a small business owner, women owned, struggling, not a very good marketer by nature, nicest person in the world. And I'm like, you know what? There's got to be something we can do. And I've got a seamstress who is really kind of bored. And I'm like, you know, why don't we make some masks too? I mean, she's really creative, and we can offer them at a price that's fair and competitive, and maybe, yeah, sure, cover some of our time and our, you know, and our costs. But I was on the phone with her this morning talking to her about how we could do this. And you send that out to all your local contacts, put it on Facebook, you put it on Instagram, and offer, you know, just free curbside drop off.
Yeah, that's a great idea.
And they pay, you know, but maybe you just do Venmo or something, because credit cards, obviously, you know, they charge you a fee. So, and is that interior design necessarily? But no, but this is a business supporting another small business. And like I said, again, I think it just, what goes around comes around
Absolutely.
ultimately.
Absolutely.
So
Yeah. Jen, what about you? Do you anticipate yourself continuing your
Yes.
you know, custom gift service? I mean, that was such a wonderful resource and service you provided.
It's definitely brought into sharp focus what I've resisted for the better part of a year, and that's going online. With everything that I have going on, I'm I own it. I'm a control, I hate the word freak, but yeah, okay. I mean, I'm not the best delegator in the world. I know this about myself. And so I want to hand in everything that's going on under the umbrella of Feather and Nest. And so it would be impossible for me to control that too. So I've resisted the online. But if anything has come out of the last month, it's shown me that stop being so stubborn and do it, because the need and the drive and the customer base is there. Go online, have the product available, delegate it to someone and let them run with it. Because it's simpler than you think. I mean, we've shipped to Florida, New Jersey, several places within Texas, to California twice. So people are looking at our Facebook posts and saying, can you ship to me too? I'm like, oh my gosh, that's out of 10 days. I would just be silly if I didn't continue that. And then for me personally, it's definitely making a more consistent effort to give back to the community. We did a big community drive during Hurricane Harvey. We do a lot in terms of supporting local churches and schools, but then I get lazy. You know, I get lazy. Life gets so busy, and Christmas season is insane for us. And I'm like, I'm exhausted. I'm working 16-hour days. I get lazy. And now it's brought into, again, sharp focus. I've got to be more consistent about it, because there'll be that time where I need to draw on my community as much as they need my help. And so I've got to do something, and have put a lot of thought the last week into how can I make that a more consistent endeavor from Feather and Nest. And for me, it's all woman centric. We're a woman owned, you know, we're all women in this business. We often get ladies multiple times a week that come and hang out, and they're like, I'm not really here to buy anything. And we offer them something to drink, and an hour later they're just hanging out and chatting.
We all need one of those little stores and you know, shops and right. But
Yeah. So that's the two takeaways for me, and maybe MailChimp.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it
We do
forces,
Constant Contact and MailChimp, actually. If you
Yeah.
start with Constant Contact, and then when, for various reasons,
You're in my heart.
we're doing both. So it's a little, I
Yeah.
have a marketing person
It's-
that I will tell you, we have a marketing person that handles pretty much all that for me. So that I would recommend, unless you're great at it yourself, all that
Give me the
technical,
hookup.
you
Yeah.
know, digital
Well,
marketing stuff.
I think it can
Get
only
busy.
grow your business. It can grow your business. And maybe
Yeah.
that's the silver lining for all of us in this dark cloud, that
Right.
we're learning how to market differently, and
Yeah.
things that, you say you're lazy, Jen, but you're tired. Maybe this is a better, work smarter kind of way that you can market to a lot more people, because as a retail store, you rely on walk-in traffic, but now you're reaching a lot more people.
Yes.
Just like with us, we rely on whatever designer is going to walk in the door. This way, we've learned to reach a lot more people and make them aware of what we have. And
Correct.
I kind of think that's our silver lining. I think, we're learning a smarter way to market our business.
Yeah, and just listening to Amy saying, she reaches out 3 times a week. I'm like, oh Lord, I can
Yeah.
do it once or twice a month. I mean,
Well, I don't know if I can beat that success story, Jen, though.
Yeah.
The gift,
Yeah.
the gift wrapping offer.
essentially, I'm the mailman in the neighborhood. That's what I've become. I'm the mailman in my car. That's what I.
well, we all have to get out of our comfort zone,
Right.
and these types of situations, will do that to all of us. We know that if we're going to survive and be successful and move forward, we have to get out of our comfort zone in some way and reach out.
I just say one thing about that, Julie, real quick. I've heard this from before, and I cannot remember who I heard it from last, but there's a saying that if something doesn't feel always very comfortable for you, maybe it's a sign that you should be doing it.
Mhm. Yeah.
Right.
So
Yeah, good advice.
But
Well,
that was
so this is kind of a great segue into each of you offering up a little nugget of wisdom or advice to our customers, our designer base. So, if anyone wants to share, I just think, as design community, we all can learn from each other. I mean, these types of situations have been so beneficial. They're therapeutic. They're all these things. But at the end of the day, if we can all learn from each other, that's really our goal today. So
Right.
so anyone have anything they want to share, something that they have helped their business or has helped them through this time?
Well, I'll offer and I thought about that. I looked at your notes earlier and I thought, what is the one thing I would say? And that's be real. Just be real, be authentic, be honest, and just be yourself. And that's my takeaway from all of this. We briefly touched on, all three of us, how people tend to glamorize what we do. We know how much work it is and how much hard work it is and how many hours we put into it and how much we sacrifice, because we know when that client calls, we drop everything. We drop everything. And so that gift of be authentic, show when you're vulnerable, show when you're fearful, show it's not that glamorous. It's not all Instagram moments. Sometimes it's just sitting in your store and thinking, I'm kind of scared. I'm kind of scared too.
Mm-hmm.
That's my takeaway is maybe, and I know we've all seen it a million times, but that be authentic, it's going to be my takeaway.
Right. And be more and be compassionate. Let
Correct.
people know they're not in this alone. We're all in this together. I have always thought of the internet and the way the young people communicate nowadays is kind of cold and not personable, but it's giving us the opportunity to keep reaching out to our customer, even though we can't be there with them. I'm a people person. I like being around people. Even though we can't be there with them, we can still reach out. We can still have conversations. We can check in on people, see how they're doing. I think in a way, it makes us more compassionate, which I never would have thought of before.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I would agree with that. I mean, I was going to touch on what we already have touched on, is don't let up on your marketing efforts. And again, be open to new ideas and technology, and we all touched on that. But I think from what Jen said and Peggy said, as far as, be human, be real. I think this is a people business, and that's what's making this situation very hard for us, because we do connect well in person with our clients. But now that we have to do things virtually, like the Zoom call more, and we have to do things by phone, I think we really need to pay attention to our communication skills.
Well, I think you all have just showed that so genuinely, that you are compassionate people. You have big hearts, and you've been successful because you're thinking about all those things, and relationships matter. And what you've given us today has just been a wonderful hour of just great conversation and great insight. So thank you for that. And I just want to do a big shout out to our industry as a whole, because, looking around, Amy, you're sharing your story, and from a restaurant side, and Jen as well, what your community is doing, and, the fabric, and, from, we've been fortunate to be a part of the Mask America and donating our fabric, and as well as all of the fabric companies out there, and furniture companies and designers and workrooms are stepping up. So I think just a big
Great.
shout out to our industry, and how really kind and compassionate and caring we all are. So I think everyone gets a big pat on the back for contributing to that. And again, thank you. Thank all of you for being here, and thank you for being part of this
doing
panel
this.
discussion.
Thank you.
And to all of our Mitchell Fabric customers, we're still here for you. We're open. We are here to help you with any of your projects as you continue to move along. And so reach out to us, and everyone have a great day. Be safe.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Bye, Peggy.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.